What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and today we're talking about the Razer Phone 2. And well, we're gonna see what this thing is all about. So there are two types of people that this phone is built for. One being gamers, obviously, being made by a company such as Razer, and two, everybody else that's looking for a pretty good deal on a smartphone. All right, so let's talk about the gamer portion of this phone because, well, that's what it's mainly built for. I mean, if the RGB logo on the back doesn't explain that for you, then I don't know what will. But of course, inside of the phone here, we do have some gaming related software such as Razer's new Cortex app, which will kind of curate games based on your interests that you can play on this phone. And let's not forget about the display. So on the Razer Phone 2, we have a 5.72-inch display rocking a resolution of 1440 by 2560. This display is actually flanked by two very loud and powerful front-facing speakers. And that was kind of the claim to fame for Razer's phone last year, and this year it is no different, except that they've increased the volume of these things and they sound absolutely phenomenal. So of course, being able to play mobile game titles at 120 frames per second is pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. Everything looks very well, and the video does it no justice to show you exactly how smooth this thing is. I recommend that you try to get your hands on one of these just to try it out for yourself if you're into mobile gaming. Now, to power all these games, we do have the Snapdragon 845 processor, and we have a whopping 8 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, at the end of the day, for gamers, you really can't ask for much more. We have strong performance with the processor and the RAM involved. We have a very fluid 120 hertz display on this guy, and awesome front-facing speakers. I mean, all that alone just kind of sums it up. Having the Razer logo supported by Chroma on the backside is icing on the cake. And of course, because that backside is now glass, we do have wireless charging as well. And the whole thing is IP67 dust and water resistance rated. The good thing is with the display, Razer actually upped the brightness on this year's Razer phone because last year it was kind of weak sauce. So this year we have up to 580 nits of brightness, which is much higher than it was before. So the Razer Phone 2 does launch with Android 8.1 Oreo, and there's no official word on when we're going to get Pi on this device, but hopefully it's sometime soon. And another downside is that we do only get 64 gigabytes of storage, and that's the only model there is. Though, an upside to this is that we do have micro SD card expansion that supports up to 512 gigabytes. So you'll have plenty of room and space if you grab a micro SD card to load all your games onto. Now, right above that awesome display, we do have an 8 megapixel front-facing camera that's capable of shooting 1080p video, which Razer mentions is great for streaming if you want to do that kind of thing. But moving around to the backside, we do have dual 12 megapixel sensors. Of course, on the main camera, we do have an aperture of f1.8 and optical image stabilization, while the secondary camera is just a telephoto lens, and I personally don't find them very useful, but it's nice to see that Razer's stepping it up. The camera on the back is capable of shooting up to 4K video, which is nice as well. And overall, I mean, camera performance, well, okay, it's not going to be the best Android camera that you can get, but I can tell you that it is miles better than we saw on the first Razer phone, and that says a whole bunch. I mean, this camera is a good performer, and I don't think that you're going to go wrong. That was one of the biggest dings from everybody last year, is that the camera performance was just absolute garbage. But thankfully, Razer has turned things around this year. So remember in the beginning how I said that this phone was for gamers and for everybody else? Well, let's talk about that second component real quick because I've gone over quite a bit of it in the bulk of this video, but the reason why I say it's for everybody else, especially if you're into Android devices, is the price point. I mean, this phone comes in at $799. And you may think, whoa, that's expensive for a phone, but if you compare it to some of the other Android offerings that we've seen this year, such as the Galaxy Note 9 or the Pixel 3 XL, things like that, this phone begins to make a lot of sense. I mean, really, it packs everything that those other phones that I mentioned have, for the most part anyway, and it's substantially cheaper. I mean, the Pixel 3 XL comes in at $899. This is already $100 cheaper than that, and we do have a fingerprint sensor built in to the side lock button as well, which I think is a much cleaner approach than having it on the back or on the front at the bottom. You have top of the line power from the processing, you have that beautiful 120 hertz IPS display, and that's not to say that the Razer phone is technically, in all technical aspects, better than, let's say, the Pixel 3 XL or the Galaxy Note 9, but man, is it driving a very hard bargain with that $799 price tag. And last but not least, when it comes to battery life, I think it's fairly safe to say that you can get between 4 to 5 hours of screen on time with this guy. And also that's going to depend on how much you use the Razer Chroma logo on the backside. And you can actually configure that within the settings to use more or less battery. I think at the end of it all, the biggest hurdle that Razer has to overcome with the Razer Phone 2 is their marketability. I mean, they just can't come close to the Samsungs and the Googles of the world in getting people interested in their phone. But I think that this is probably one of the best priced phones of the year considering what you get. It comes in at $800 and it offers mostly the same as what the other flagships do, with a few differences here and there, but I think that for the money, it's a pretty good pickup. I don't know, let me know if you disagree with me in the comments section below or what you think of the Razer Phone 2 overall. And be sure to leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more reviews like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This is Dom and I'll catch you in the next video.